Well, here we are, high in the mountains of Oregon, with another video. And in this one, we're going to try to get this little Chevy S10 to run and hopefully drive. So let's go. Well, what we got here is a 1989 Chevy S10. It's first gen S10 pickups, standard cab, short bed. Probably the most desirable body style of all these S10s. Now, I'm usually going for the classic cars, but I've always liked these little S10s. They've got the mini truck vibe, make a really sweet hot rod. They're almost like a mini square body. You could drop a small block V8 in one of these and the power to weight ratio is crazy. But that's not what we're going for in this one. This is going to be Project Cheap Daily. Now I need another daily driver other than my 70 Nova that I've been driving forever. I sold my work truck a while back. So let's make this project cheap daily driver. You know, being work is an hour-and-a-half round trip. Gas is not cheap. It's just not practical driving the muscle car daily from the mountains to the valley and back just before work. So we're gonna try to get this little S10 to run and drive and then use it as a daily driver. Hopefully that little four-banger is a lot better on gas than my V8. I like the idea that this is a cool little mini truck, but with the potential of dropping a V8 in it someday and having some real fun. Now, first things first, we got to see if this thing's even going to run. So let's take a closer look. So you can see we got a pretty straight little truck here. Now, I did notice that the window does have a couple little cracks, but there's no major damage, just some surface rust. Now, I think this has been repainted and it's seen better days, obviously. But it's got newer tires and it looks like all four of the hubcaps, even though I can't really see that back end that's back in the bushes. Now, the story with this is it belonged to a friend of mine, and I don't know how many years he had it off the road. And then eventually I purchased it from him and I was able to get it out here in the back of our property, and then it's been sitting for who knows how long since then. I don't know much about it. I'm pretty sure it's going to be able to run, but I know there was some kind of drivability issues and we're going to have to figure that out. Now, like I was saying, this standard cab, short bed has always been a really cool looking truck to me. These things look great, slammed to the ground, tinted windows. It doesn't take much. Or which I'd rather do is drop a V8 in this thing, put a 4-speed in it, beef up the suspension a little bit, throw a posi rear end, and have a sweet hot rod pickup. But I got enough projects that we're dealing with. I just need a daily driver that's good on gas. Now I said 1.8, but looking here, it's 2.5 fuel injected. So a little 2.5 four-banger. I think they call it Iron Duke. And it's got an automatic. Hopefully this one doesn't put up too much of a fight. But it's a pretty clean little truck. You know, this one might be a candidate for a nice paint job after we get it running and driving, of course. Let's take a closer look and see what's going on. I mean, the back is full of stuff. I threw a bunch of lumber in here a long time ago, and there's a bunch of miscellaneous garbage here, so we're gonna have to get this cleaned out at some point, but we can't even get around it to look at it. It's in the bushes. So we'll have to get this thing out of here before we can really clean it out and walk around it completely. You know, it's obviously been sitting here for a while. I was looking and there's spiders all over this thing. So hopefully we don't have to climb under it for any reason. And most of this looks like it'll wash up. But we do have some rust coming through on the hood. Yeah, this is just flaking right off, this paint. So, yeah. And just flaking right off. So it might be a little more than just surface rust up here, but and then we got a crack in the window and a chip right there from something. I thought I saw some bones and fur. I don't know if there's a dead animal in here or what, but let's go ahead and open it up and take a look and see what's going on here. Oh. And we got a brown interior. Ugh. Smells like sage and patchouli. And what? Oh my Lord. Okay, I've seen this before, nothing to worry about. This is nothing but some hippie voodoo. No, not like the southern witch doctor evil voodoo, more like a good voodoo of the north, leaving nothing but positive vibes and chakra aligning protection. These items and artifacts have been obviously gathered by a hippie and placed here gingerly to protect this vehicle and giving it good karma. Now, from what I can see here, this thing's gonna start. Oh, look, there's even essential oils and herbal extracts. This thing's totally gonna run. Well, now, knowing that, we could confidently move forward with this. It's, you know, pretty wore out in here. Brown interior. And shag roof liner. Pretty sweet. But other than that, nothing too special. Let's see, you know, it's the automatic. Can I see the mileage? It's almost 100,000. Probably rolled over once already. Maybe it's getting close to 200,000. You know, we got a Pioneer stereo. Oh yeah, detachable face Pioneer stereo. It's been a while, but hopefully this thing works. It'll probably rock. But other than that, it's pretty plain Jane. Nothing too special. Ooh, sweet, an old map. This is how we used to get around before there was Google. You actually had to take a map with you and trace and track your course. Sweet, I actually like that. I like maps. I got a small collection, so. Well, oh, socket number 13. Basic stuff. Oh, I found somebody's stash. Chai tea. Nah. Maybe in here? Oh no, just actual mints and those. No, thank you. That's a hard pass. Just some miscellaneous things. And I just see this. This is definitely going to come in handy. I usually get one of these for every vehicle I get. It's nice that this one's coming with it already. We'll check behind the seat, of course. Some duct tape, that might come in handy. And, ooh, plenty of change in the seat. Definitely use that. Some TP just in case, you never know. But overall, nothing too major. I think this thing's gonna clean up pretty nice. I suppose next we'll pop the hood and see what we're looking at there. Oh, there we go. Oh, funky. Yeah, well, obviously some rats have been up in here. Actually, looks like the remnants of a mouse or a rat. There's fur, all kinds of rat poo. Oh. I'll get this propped up here. There we go. So yeah, the 2.5 4-banger. Now, other than a missing battery, it looks complete. Hopefully, the rats being in here, they haven't chewed through any wires or anything like that. So, definitely a bit oily. So, it's gonna need to be cleaned up in here. Then we got the oil. Let's check that. Well, it's got it in there. A little low, but we're in the safe range, so it doesn't look that bad either. It's obviously been repainted. It used to be blue, but look at those runs. Is this like house paint? What'd they paint it with? Check the radiator. Well, it's still full of green coolant. That's good. Looks like somebody wrote down something for 16, 27,000 miles oil change. 416, something 16, something 16. They kept checking it. It was all the same year. Only a couple hundred miles difference between each one. Okay. Yeah. I vaguely remember hearing something from my friend that I bought this from that this could have been a service vehicle for somebody or a company. So maybe, you know, every couple months they checked it or something. But I guess first thing is we need to get a battery in here, and I'm noticing these are the side posts. I hate those, and I don't know if I've got a side post battery. Those look good though. So I guess the next thing we do is get a battery in here and see if we can't get this thing to crank. So I'm gonna go dig around, find a side post battery, and get that thing charged up, and we'll go from there. Pistol's gotta go. Alright, I found a battery. Yeah. It took me a while to find this battery, and then I had to charge it, so it's been a bit now. There. Now I think I got it charged up enough. We should be able to try starting this. But there's a few things I want to do before we try starting it. First of all, I want to open up that air cleaner and make sure there's no mice or mouse nest in there. So let's go ahead and open that up. Alright, like I pointed out before, pretty nasty. There's rat shit, and it looks like part of a carcass. There's fur there. Ew. But I want to open this up, make sure it's not full of mouse house. I didn't bring gloves with me, so I don't really want to touch this stuff. Gross. Gross. Okay. Just need to get these wing nuts off here. I should have brought some sanitizer. Oh god. Lovely. Oh god. Come on. I might have to go back and get gloves. Oh no. That's horrible. Rat shit everywhere. Didn't get on me, but yowza. We did get some in there though. Gross. At least there's no mouse house. And it looks pretty dang clean in there actually, other than those few turds that we dropped in there. Dang it. Alright. Well, it's looking pretty clear. I don't think we're full of rat's nest in there. That's good. So I guess next, you know, the gas in here is probably a few years old, but I was checking it and it's pretty much empty. I couldn't get any gas to siphon out of it. It doesn't smell bad either. I'm pretty sure this thing's pretty much bone dry. If there's anything in there, it's at least a few years old. So what I'm gonna do, and it's not ideal, but I'm just gonna put about 5 gallons of fresh fuel in here, hopefully to dilute the little bit that might be remaining. Now I've done this before and it turned around and bit me in the end. We did it on the bus. When I put fuel in the empty gas tank, there was still enough residual funk in the tank and it sucked it up into the carburetor. So this isn't advised, but this one hasn't been sitting here for 25 years, so we have much better opportunity of this starting with just putting some fresh fuel in there. So that's what we're gonna do. Just getting the battery hooked up here. Make this connection. I don't hear anything or see any smoke. Those are obvious things you want to look out for. Go ahead and get this tightened up. There. And well, I did get those couple little turds out of there. We shouldn't have any issues with that. And we'll just set this aside for now until we get that cleaned up. So next I'm gonna go ahead and put that gas in. All right, I think I'm ready to try giving it a start. You know, we've put a fresh battery on it. Hopefully the gas is going to be good. Well, it hasn't been sitting long enough to be locked up, so pretty confident it's going to start. Well, one way to find out. Let's go. I see dash lights. Give it a try. Fired right up. It's pretty noisy because I don't have the air cleaner on there. Let's cap that up. Ew. A little bit of smoke burning. Actually, that's probably, I think it's rat poop. Burning rat poop. Gross. She's pretty quiet, you know, a little four-cylinder, 2.5. A little bit of motor noise. And it's burning all kinds of rat poop on the manifold. Disgusting. Ugh. But heck yeah. Let's see, I doubt it has any gauges as far as oil pressure and what have you, but we got temp gauge. Oh yeah, there's oil pressure. We got over 40 pounds. I don't even think you can see that. But yeah, we got 40 pounds of oil pressure. That's good. It's saying we got a quarter tank of gas. I'm not sure. Battery's good. The temp is still cold. Well, that's good. We got oil pressure. Fired right up. Running smooth. And I told you, everything that's going on up here, this thing is going to run good. There should be. And let it warm up a little bit, and maybe we'll try driving it, see if it'll drive out of here. I don't even know. Maybe I'm gonna try putting it in gear. Let's see, foot on the brake first. Let's see if we got any brakes. Brakes feel good. Let's try to drop it down into drive. Oh yeah, that was a pretty firm shift, but it went right into gear. Neutral, reverse, park. I'm having high hopes, guys. So far, so good. We got headlights. And I guess next we got to try to drive this thing out of here. I don't know if we have to pull any of this junk out of here. I think most of these bushes will probably just stay behind. We'll just drive right out of them. And then when it's out, we can kind of walk around it and take a look at it. And that'll give me an opportunity to clean out the bed, get that junk out of there, and take a good look at this thing. Alright, she pulled right out of there, no problem. Well, looks like we got both tail lights. Yeah, this thing's pretty straight. There's no damage. mean, I don't know how bad the rust is, if there's any, but we got all 4 tires looking new-ish. Most of this looks like it'll just wash off. I mean, you could tell the paint's gonna be messed up because all the rust coming through, surface rust kinda. And you can see there's the original blue underneath. And maybe it'd look nice to have the original metallic blue again. Got some ideas rolling around in my head, but pretty straight little truck. Just needs a little TLC, a little repaint. I can see a little bend in the bumper from being pulled, but grill looks straight. It's just needs to be repainted. Well, heck yeah. I guess next we'll probably get this thing cleaned out. I'll clean out all this junk out of the bed and shoot, I guess we'll go for a test drive and get this thing on the road and see what she'll do. Now, of course, before we take it for a test drive, we gotta clean out all this garbage. Scrap metal. Now, we got a lot of 2x4s in here, and you know, this stuff's like gold these days. We're gonna save all of this. Stack it aside. Alright guys, I got a swarm of yellow jackets forming over here. I think there's a ground nest. Alright, I'm gonna stack this wood over here instead. We got a gas can with almost positive bad gas in it at this point. A set of tire chains. Little scissor jack and a piece of scrap metal. Now I might throw the scissor jack and the tire chains back behind the seat. That door hasn't been open in a while. Alright, well we should probably load up and go for a test drive. Alright, let's go ahead and start her up. Now, another thing is I didn't get any keys with this. This starts without a key and the doors don't even lock. So we're going to have to figure out something there at some point. And it's got some cracks in the windows. I think I pointed that out. So maybe a new windshield is in its future. I don't think it'd cost too much. A couple $100 to get a new window in. But, you know, once again, this is just a work truck, daily driver. Not expecting too much out of it. It's not a show car. And another thing I noticed here, unit 835. So another indication this was some kind of service vehicle for somebody. Steering wheel is pretty funky, but we're already in. There's not much we could do now. No turning back now. So let's go ahead and get this a start here. Just like that. That's totally staying. Alright. Well, here we go. Let's see here. I didn't get the tires topped off. They're a little low, but that shouldn't stop us. Brakes are working. All right. Brakes are working. It's steering good. Fires right up. This is going a lot easier than I thought it was going to go. Well, so far so good, except for we have no wipers and it's starting to rain and these windows are dirty. It's gonna make it super hard to see. Alright, nobody get in front of me. Alright, it's really starting to rain now. Figures right when I go on the test run. If I pull off these sticks and this dirt off the wiper blades, they might work. Stop down here, try to pull that debris off there so we can try these wipers. But being that it's been sitting for years, I'm sure the wiper blades themselves are just toast and it's just going to smear mud everywhere and make it even worse. I do got a couple paper towels. I think the rain's already stopped and I'll just wipe a little spot so I can see. All good. Doors. I don't think the door's open from the inside either. I gotta reach out. Lame. Alright. Well, doing good so far, but I want to see if these wipers are gonna work. I doubt it. Where are we at here? There we go. No wipers? I guess not. Yeah, they're not wanting to turn on. Alright, well, let's use a paper towel and wipe me off a spot. Okay, like I was saying, it's not dry, but at least I can see out it a little better. And let's just go down the road and take this on a little test run. See how she does. Alright. Yeah, this indicator isn't lining up properly with the gear selector, so I'm having trouble figuring out exactly if we're in drive all the way. A few little things we're figuring out as we go. Alright. Go. Alright. Whoa. Okay, she's slipping. I put it down in a second, I think. I think I'm in second now. And then drive. It's just slipping. We have no drive. Or no. Down to second, okay. I cannot see nothing right now. So I'm gonna wait for this car to pass. I'm gonna try to put it back into drive again. This, okay, I can't see anything. It's starting to refresh my memory though, now that I realize that I think that's what the deal was. That's why this was parked, because we had some kind of transmission issue. Or my buddy that I got it from. Now, let's see, back to drive. Yeah, we have no, it just slips. How about overdrive? Yeah, it doesn't go. Drive back to second. First. First, second. We have no third gear. We have no third. We have first and second. I'm in second now. Whoa. Somebody pulled out in front of me here. What? Okay, well, I knew there had to be a catch. It was going to be that easy. Now I may try checking the transmission fluid. Oh, now there's deer in front of me. But yeah, drive. Yeah, I can feel a slight amount of pull, but it mostly just slips. There's no third gear. So this is a 3-speed automatic with an overdrive. Let me pull over here. Oh, I have no blinkers. The blinkers don't work either. Oh. Yeah. Uh-oh. Yeah. Alright, so the blinker arm's broke. So what started out what I thought was going to be easier is getting harder and harder. Nothing too major though so far, except for the transmission. Let me get it out and check the transmission fluid level and see if that shows it as being low or not. Open the window to open the door. Right to the full level, perfect. Looking a little burnt though. Yeah, it was right to the full mark, but looking a little burnt. So we might have to do a transmission swap, which I wasn't looking into doing, but I kind of remember him now telling me about something about the transmission like this, so yeah, sounds about right. Other than that, it runs great. Needs a good cleaning, new windshield, and maybe a new paint job if we get everything else working just right. Obviously this motor needs detailed. It's greasy and rusty. Needs a good tune-up. But I guess there's lots of potential there. Hopefully we get it to work out to eventually be my daily driver, but obviously we're gonna need to do some work to make that happen. All right, well, let's get her home. So let's see, reverse, yeah, neutral, drive, and it's overdrive, but drive, either that, but it shows it on N still, and then we got also, you know, drive, and then second, and then first, and that's all the way over, so it's a little out of sync there. I don't know if that has anything to do with the transmission. No, because if you're in drive, it would just do it automatically, but, well, let's see, we're in drive now, right? Yeah, overdrive, neutral, yeah, overdrive, drive. So, let's just go for a little drive here and we'll show you. You know, first gear, second gear, and then third gear is nothing. There's a little bit of pull, but it won't go more than that. And let's see, I'll put it into overdrive. One click, now we're in overdrive. Same thing. There's a little bit of pull, but it won't go in. Now we'll go back to second. And now we're driving just fine in second. But there is no third. Now we got to turn around right here. After this, we go up into Warehouser land. And they got the gate closed right up there. Yeah, I don't know. I think this little truck it's got a lot of potential. It's a worthy candidate to do the transmission swap. You know, the plan is to keep this a fuel efficient, budget daily driver. That's why I want to keep the 4-banger in it for now. And, no, like I mentioned earlier, very tempting just to pull the motor and transmission out and do a V8 swap. That defeated all the purpose. I'm already driving a V8 daily, and we need to try to save some gas. And I also thought maybe, you know, my daughter, she's only 11 now, but come a few years from now, she's going to be thinking about her first car, and a little mini truck wouldn't be bad first vehicle. Not with the V8 swap, but with this little 4-cylinder automatic. I'll have to look into it a little more, do a little more research, see if there's anything we can do with this transmission. Otherwise, I'll just look around a marketplace or check with some buddies, try to find a replacement for it. But after sitting all these years, she fired right up and she's running great. We're climbing the hills right now, going uphill. Doesn't feel weak at all. I think she's gonna be a good truck. We just need to fix the old transmission. Alright. Alright guys, well, it's the next day and there's no way around it. Transmission is shot in this truck. Now, I did a bit of research last night, and what we got in here is the THM 700R4 automatic. It's a 3-speed with an overdrive. It's a 700R4, but a smaller bolt pattern, and turns out it's super rare, or very hard to find. You know, this has got the 2.5 liter 4-banger, and with the automatic, it came with this smaller 700R4. The least common option they offer in these trucks. Wouldn't be so difficult to find a transmission for it if it would have been a 5-speed manual, or even the 4-wheel drive, or even the automatic, but the bigger automatic with the V6. With the 2.5 4-banger motor and the 3-speed overdrive automatic transmission, not very common. And I searched everywhere, Marketplace and Craigslist, started calling all the wrecking yards, even B&R. They searched all their local wrecking yards, all the Northwest, none available. And they said that one of these transmissions comes up available, it's gone instantly. You know, there was maybe 1 or 2 that I could find anywhere in the Northwest or Marketplace, and they were asking a lot, or they were completely unknown. So I'm gonna keep searching and see if I can't find a replacement transmission for this. That's the route I'd like to go. If not, there's plenty of other options, but let's try to find a replacement transmission. I thought about having this overhauled, but that's a bit more that I'd like to spend. So we'll see what we can find. In the meantime though, let's give this thing a wash. I think it'll clean up pretty nice. Let's go ahead and start in the engine bay. That thing was an oily mess, covered with rat poop. And of course, like always, we're gonna use Super Clean. Now, I don't know if I've expressed how much I enjoy this product. I mean, it works for us every single time we use it. And Super Clean themselves have been great to me. They send me a product whenever I need it. I've never been disappointed. So let's go ahead and douse the motor with this, and we'll use a pressure washer and see if we can't get that thing cleaned up. Let's go. All right, this is so bad. I'm just gonna douse everything, and we're just gonna blast it all. Let's go. All right, not bad. Cleaned up pretty good. It was pretty funky. It was caked on there. We did lose a lot of the paint though. I imagine we're gonna lose a lot of the paint on the whole truck as we pressure wash and clean this thing up. I don't know who painted it, but it wasn't the best quality. You know, all these runs and what have you, but yeah, we got it mostly cleaned up. There's still some down deep. We could probably do a second coat of super clean, let that sit down there and blast it with the pressure washer again. But for the most part, we got it all cleaned up. Enough where we could dig in here and tune it up. But before we do any more mechanical work, I guess I'd like to go ahead and pressure wash this whole thing. Wash the truck and really see what we're working with. All right, let's go. Alright, just working my way around the truck. I got this half done. As you can see, this half is still dirty. So, it's working. Go ahead and change camera angle and move over to the other side. Alright, well, we got her all cleaned up. And I'll be honest with you guys, I think she's a little more rough than I originally thought. You know, I was talking about it being a good candidate for a paint job because I thought the body was straight and clean. I was mistaken. She needed a bit of work to get a paint job. Let me show you. You know, well, I'd pointed out how some of this paint was flaking off and rusting through here. You know, now I'm realizing that it's just bare metal underneath. You can see, and it was just blasting off here, and the paint is just flaking off. And when you look underneath, there's no primer. This is just coming right off, and it's just bare metal underneath. It would require to have this whole thing sanded back down to bare metal just to get all this flaking paint off, so we could repaint it properly. You know, it's just all paint right over bare metal. I think it's actually spray paint. It might just be spray paint because, let's see, right over here, it's either bare metal or right over the original paint. And if you flake off a piece of this white and look at the backside, it's just white. There's no primer over this. It's just painted right over. And wherever it's flaking off, it's just, you know, bare metal underneath. So, and even here, it looks like there's a little bit of Bondo work, but no primer over it. So at some point, I mean, it looks like maybe they took the bed off because it's painted all the way down behind the cab. I'm not sure, but regardless, somebody repainted this and it is beginning to fail. And what I thought was a straight body, as you go around this thing and start looking, you realize normal dents you usually find wear and tear over time, shoving the door shut there. You know, here there's obviously been some kind of damage to the door. Maybe there was an accident. Usually there's an accident that pushes the fender into the door, but I'm thinking there might be Bondo in a lot of this. A lot of this is probably Bondo right here. And there's been damage covered up and then just spray painted over. All this is just bare metal showing, so it's just gonna keep rusting. So, not really sure what we're gonna do with the body and paint, you know. There's dings and dents everywhere. There's a hole ripped through the bed, several spots there. This tailgate's just hammered. So, before we worry about body and paint, I think we need to worry about getting that transmission replaced. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to continue looking for a replacement transmission, and then we'll go from there. Once we get all the mechanicals worked out on this thing, then we could worry about body and paint. You know, I got the 59 Chevy El Camino in the garage that needs body and paint. So if we're doing body paint on anything, it's going to be on that one. But in the meantime, focus on getting this thing running, back on the road, work out all the mechanicals, and go from there. So I really appreciate you all watching. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. Huge shout out to all my members. And until next time, peace.